Imagine a town that once lived. There were the sounds of children playing in the streets, small shops opening every morning, and the roar of mining machinery was the daily soundtrack. But now, all that is gone. The streets are deserted, the crumbling buildings have been left to rot, and the only sound you hear is the wind rustling through broken windows. It's as if the town has been completely forgotten, not just by its residents, but also by the digital world. Even Google seems oblivious to its existence. Today, I'll take you on a journey to one of America's most unique ghost cities. A city not on the average tourist's bucket list, yet filled with hidden stories. How did this town disappear from the radar? What secrets did people leave behind when they left? And why do some say this place still holds something? Let's begin this journey. But be careful, because in every corner of this ghost town, there's always a story waiting to be discovered. If we go back to the late 19th century, Cisco wasn't just a small dot on the map of Utah. Imagine a barren expanse of land, a seemingly lifeless wilderness. Then, suddenly, a small town arose, bustling for one simple reason: the railroad. Cisco was born in the era when the Union Pacific Railroad ran through the region. Around the 1880s, the town thrived as a water and coal station for steam locomotives. Long trains traveling the American West would stop in Cisco for a drink and continue their journey. And that was the beginning of a community. But Cisco wasn't just a stopover. Around it were small mines, ranches, and, most interestingly, the oil and gas industry. In the early 1900s, the discovery of oil fields made Cisco more than just a dot on the railroad. This small town once boasted hundreds of residents, complete with hotels, bars, shops, and of course, the typical Wild West reputation: a little chaotic, a little wild. However, like most frontier towns, its heyday was short-lived. As train technology changed from steam locomotives to diesel, Cisco lost its role as a vital stop. Small mines weren't producing enough either. Meanwhile, the oil fields surrounding the town were fading over time. Even more tragically, in the modern era, Interstate 70 was built, but it simply bypassed Cisco. Imagine thousands of vehicles passing by every day, but none of them needed to stop in this small town. It was like being cut off from the outside world. Slowly, Cisco became a ghost town. Rickety wooden buildings, empty gas stations, and signs fading in the desert sun. Today, Cisco still exists, physically, but its life is long gone. All that remains are the skeletons, abandoned houses, broken windows, and shadows of the past that seem to whisper old stories to anyone curious enough to stop by. If we stand in the middle of Cisco today, the atmosphere is both chilling and intriguing. Just imagine a town that was once bustling with the sound of locomotives, the sound of smashing bar windows, the laughter of miners, and the hum of oil pumps. Now silent, with only the desert wind ruling. For many, Cisco is just a ghost town. But if we dig deeper, behind the dilapidated buildings and dusty dirt roads, there are stories of life and mysteries. Back when it was bustling, Cisco wasn't a luxury town. People here lived simply, perhaps even harshly. Water had to be pumped and stored, and food came via train or from nearby farms. Summers were hot, winters were bitter, but precisely from these limitations, a strong community emerged. There was a small school, a tiny hotel for travelers, and even a legendary bar where oil workers spent the night. You could say Cisco has a distinctly American frontier aura, a small town full of struggle with stubborn people who refuse to give up easily. The problem is, change is inevitable. After steam trains were replaced by diesel engines, Cisco's role as a gas station was lost. Oil? Not enough to sustain the town. And when Interstate 70 opened, vehicles sped by without a second glance at Cisco. Slowly, businesses closed, people moved away, and homes were abandoned. Cisco went from a busy town to an empty town in a matter of decades. Imagine how strange it is, where once children ran along its dirt roads, now only doors creaked in the wind. Cisco isn't just your average ghost town. Many travelers, photographers, and even urban legend hunters come here for one reason: its mysterious aura. Some say they hear faint sounds at night, like a child's laughter or the creaking of train wheels. Others swear they see shadows walking among the abandoned buildings. Is it just imagination, or perhaps residual energy from the past clinging to Cisco's wooden walls? In fact, some locals call Cisco a cursed place. They say that anyone who tries to revive the town has always failed. Interestingly, a modern artist once lived here and transformed some of the buildings into experimental art spaces. But still, the desolate atmosphere and harsh nature of Cisco often discouraged people. Today, Cisco is better known as a ruined town, a spot for exploration. Many photographers come here to capture the eerie atmosphere of its dilapidated buildings. Some indie filmmakers even use it as a filming location for its strong post-apocalyptic feel. But for travelers who visit in person, the experience is different. Cisco isn't just a ghost town to photograph, but a kind of time capsule that freezes history. A place where you can truly experience the transition from glory to ruin. Imagine walking along a dusty path, passing an old gas station with peeling paint, then peeking into a half-collapsed wooden house. There you might still see glass bottles, old magazines, or rickety chairs abandoned decades ago. It feels like stepping through time, as if the people of Cisco simply left and never returned. That's what Cisco looks like today, a quiet town, but full of stories. A place that arouses curiosity, makes you shiver, but also makes you amazed at how humans once tried to survive in such a harsh place. Now let's get to the big question. Why did Cisco completely disappear off the radar, even being forgotten by Google? If we think about it, these days almost anything can be searched for on Google. Small towns, remote villages, even roadside coffee shops can appear on maps. But Cisco was different. It seemed unnoticed, as if it weren't part of modern America. Cisco was located on a major railroad in the late 1800s, meaning it was at the center of the movement of people and goods. But when steam trains were replaced by diesel engines, Cisco lost its identity. And when Interstate 70 was built in the 1970s, the highway bypassed the town. Imagine thousands of cars passing by every day, but there was no reason to stop. Cisco seemed to be permanently sidelined. So despite its location near a major transportation route, the town was no longer functionally relevant. That was the beginning of its oblivion. Google, essentially, only shows what people search for. Big cities, restaurants, hotels, tourist attractions, all of them emerge because of activity and demand. Cisco? No restaurants, no active hotels, not even permanent residents to serve as digital markers. This absence makes Cisco a blank spot. No one types pizza in Cisco or cheap hotels in Cisco, so the algorithm has no reason to highlight it. Cisco lives in the real world, but dies in the digital one. Some ghost towns in America have survived, even become popular, because someone has managed them. For example, Bodie in California became a state historic park, or Jerome in Arizona, which successfully transformed into an arts and tourism town. Cisco? No branding, no official effort to maintain or promote it. As a result, it remains just a collection of empty buildings that continue to decay with time. And when there is no official narrative, the town loses its place in the collective memory, including in search engines. There's an interesting point here. In the age of globalization and digitalization, we often think that all places are recorded. But Cisco proves otherwise. This town is too small, too quiet, too insignificant in the context of the modern economy. To algorithms, Cisco is just noise. Imagine a small town with zero business activity clearly can't compete with hundreds of thousands of search results for Salt Lake City or Moab just a few hours away. Strange, isn't it? It's precisely because it's forgotten that Cisco has become so appealing. Travelers, photographers, and even YouTubers are starting to see the city as something different, a symbol of how modernity can quickly forget a place that was once vital. The city has become a kind of metaphor. In a digital world, our existence depends heavily on what can be found on Google. Cisco can't, and that's where its aura of mystery comes from. So the reason Cisco is forgotten isn't because it's actually gone physically, but because it has no voice in the digital age. It's not just a ghost town in the Utah desert, but also a ghost town on the internet.
We might think of Cisco as just another ghost town, no different from the thousands of other ghost towns across America. Ramshackle buildings, dusty roads, old signage, a perfect backdrop for an Instagram photo or an indie horror film. But if we think about it further, Cisco isn't just a ghost town. It's a mirror. Cisco shows how quickly the world can change. A city once vital to the railroad, the oil industry, and frontier communities now lies in ruins. It reminds us that relevance is fleeting. What's important today can be gone tomorrow. For those of us living in the digital age, this lesson is all too real. We might feel like we exist because we have followers, are trending, or are viral. But if we stop being relevant, the algorithm can forget us just as quickly as Google forgot Cisco. Cisco also speaks to isolation. Imagine a once bustling city, abandoned, forgotten, and separated from the outside world by the very highway that should have been its connection. Sometimes we experience this feeling as individuals. We can be surrounded by many people, yet still feel isolated. We can be online every day, yet feel invisible. Cisco offers a beautiful metaphor for that. Physically present, but socially absent. Interestingly, precisely because it's gone, Cisco has acquired a new appeal. Travelers, photographers, and storytellers come here seeking something missing in modern cities: authenticity, solitude, and traces of the past that can still be touched. Perhaps this is also why ghost towns always intrigue us. They remind us of things we've left behind but still long for: simplicity, togetherness, or even a sense of mystery rarely found in our fast-paced world. Cisco is a reminder that places, people, even technology, all can be forgotten. But that doesn't mean they're useless. In fact, therein lies their true value. We can learn, reflect, and draw meaning from what's left behind. So the next time you feel small in this big world, remember Cisco, a small town forgotten by Google, yet still with a story to tell. If a ghost town in the Utah desert can inspire people around the world, imagine what we can do with our own lives. This isn't just a story about an abandoned town. It's a story about all of us, about how the world can change so quickly, about how we can be forgotten, but also about how every trace has meaning. Cisco may be off the modern map, but in its story we find reflections on life, time, and the meaning of existence.